I'm so glad this video found you. And yes, I mean you, because there's no coincidence in this lovely world that we live in. This video found you for a reason, because the message in it is meant for you. So a lot of you who may see this may use your logical brain. Oh, the algorithm brought me here. Oh, I see this because I'm subscribed to you. However, this is not the case. Because we are actively creating our reality. And what we think about expands. And so whatever you are thinking about, you are creating. Whatever you fear, you create. And so the message I wanted to tell you is just that. When it comes to desire, when it comes to manifestation, we always think about and hear about attracting what it is that we want, manifesting what it is that we want. However, most people don't realize at the same time that we are also attracting what we fear. What we fear is showing up in our lives and is just as powerful as what we want. Some would say even more powerful. So just as it is very important to control our desire, to manifest our desire, and to stay focused on our dream life and living in our desire, it's also just as important to control our fears, because our fears, subtle or not, are creating our reality as well. Because fear is a funny emotion. Because with fear, we have no choice but to focus on it. We must focus on it because it is our biological makeup. If we ignored fear, our body is afraid that we would perish. However, we have to logically think through our fears, and we must conquer our fears, subtle or large. And we must realize that these fears that we hold inside of us, fear of abandonment, fear of betrayal, fear of being homeless, fear of dying, fear of love, fear of spiders. All of these fears are creating our reality as well. Because fear in itself, depending on how powerful this fear is demanding your focus. And it's gonna win. Because it is our biological makeup. It is what keeps us alive, in a sense. We are fearful of lions in the wild. Why? Because they'll kill us. And if we don't focus on where this lion is at, we are vulnerable. As humans have evolved, society has evolved, our fears have changed. Fear of bills not being paid. Fear of making a phone call, or whatever the fear may be. Even though it seems different, it is still the fundamental root of what fear has always been, and that is to keep us alive. However, the brain doesn't realize that as a society, we are no longer in as much danger as we were back then. Life is a little bit easier now. Some may beg to differ because of the way that the world seems to be right now, but overall life is a little bit easier. And some of these fears that we hold are just roots to the original fears, blended and molded into the way society is now. And so what we must do is we must conquer those fears, and I don't mean facing them. I mean speaking logic into them and realizing that fear is just as creative as desire. And once you realize this, you will think differently. you won't give that fearful thought as much attention, because you'll realize, if I keep giving this attention, this will become my reality. And I don't want that. Your fear isn't real. Your fear is a chemical reaction. Your fear in itself right now is not real. Your anxiety and fear that you're feeling is just your body's way of prepping you. But realize that if you continue to observe this body prepping you over and over, day in and day out, thinking about it, worrying about it, getting stressed out about it, it'll show up and it'll find you. So what you must do is instead logically speak to your fear. Tell it why it doesn't exist in this moment right now. Why you shouldn't let it control your life. And instead focus on what you want to attract. If you can get this one thing through your head, you are golden. And that is to realize that focus is one of the most important powers of this universe that humans hold, that you hold. And that focus is what's creating your reality. What you focus on expands. And so if you are focusing on your desire, you are bringing that desire closer to you every single time you think about it. But if you focus on fear, you are bringing that fear to you closer and closer and closer every time you think about it. Don't take this message lightly. This is very serious, because a lot of us obsess and obsess and obsess over stuff that we are fearful about. And eventually it shows up. And I don't want it to for you. I really don't. Because it's an easy fix. All you have to do is logically tell it no. Tell it to leave me alone. It doesn't matter. What has happened in the past that maybe has spawned this fear has already happened, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen again. It doesn't mean it. So let it go. Let it go and focus on what is positive. Focus on what is creating bliss and positivity and love into your life. And tell that fear to go away. So comment down below, I am living in bliss. And if you like these kind of videos, I left a playlist above for you to click on. So enjoy.